How's it going out there, classic movie fans? I always appreciate you hanging out with me for a little bit. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Orlando Ruiz Jr. Welcome to another classic movie review. I am talking about a 1957 period drama called The Pride and the Passion from director Stanley Krammer, who brought us films like It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. Also, a movie that I really enjoy called The Defiant Ones, and another one of my all-time favorite films, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. This is based on a book written by a C.S. Foster from 1933. The book was called The Gun, and this movie stars the great Cary Grant. You also have Frank Sinatra, Sophia Loren, and this is a story that's set in the early 1800s with the backdrop being the Napoleonic Wars. The story begins during the aftermath of a huge battle that had just taken place between Spain and the French army, and by the looks of it, the very beginning looks like Spain has just gotten their butts handed to them by the French, and they're licking their wounds and everything. But they have this huge, big-ass mother of a cannon, and in order to make sure that the enemy doesn't get it, they decide they're going to dump it over the side of a cliff. Word of this gets out to the British Navy, who figure they could really use a weapon like this for themselves in their fight against Spain, and so they decide to send somebody out to retrieve this cannon, Captain Anthony Trumbull. Of course, that's going to be Cary Grant's character. I love me some Cary Grant. He's one of my favorite actors from the old days. Some of my favorite movies have Cary Grant in them, movies like Bringing Up Baby and North by Northwest, and of course, Notorious. So Cary Grant's character, Captain Anthony Trumbull of the British Navy, arrives in Spain at the site of the cannon to find that the Spanish army have by then retreated, but the cannon is not alone. Guarding the cannon are a small army of Spanish freedom fighters or Spanish resistance led by the character of Miguel, played by Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra's character Miguel, who is the head of a small army of Spanish freedom fighters, is tough, resourceful, at times can be a bit pig-headed. He is very uneducated, and at times he seems a bit on the insecure side. With Miguel at his side is his woman and partner in freedom fighting, Juana, played by the beautiful and very talented Sophia Loren. And admittedly, I haven't seen that many things with Sophia Loren. I have seen Grumpy Old Men, one of my favorite comedies from the 90s. I enjoy both Grumpy Old Men films, so that's the only thing that I know her from. Other than that, this is the only other thing I've ever seen her in. But she was beautiful and, yeah, great actress, and so I really enjoy her character. Sinatra's character Miguel is very much on the impulsive, macho side, and so Juana keeps him grounded throughout the film and serves as the voice of reason for Miguel. And so, yeah, at the very beginning, Cary Grant's character, Captain Trumbull, is talking to Miguel and asking for help to get the cannon from the side of the cliff, from the bottom, and so they need a bunch of guys, many, many men. They use ropes. It's actually very impressive when you watch the film and you see how they get the cannon from the side of the cliff, from the very bottom, and they pull it up, and it looks heavy as hell. The French army have occupied a place in Spain called Avila, and Miguel very much wants to take Avila back from the French and use this big-ass cannon against them to do it. And so he says, if you help me get this cannon over there and help me fire it, because I don't know how to fire this cannon, then I'll give it back to you and you can use it however you want to use it. And so reluctantly, Captain Trumbull, Cary Grant's character, agrees, and it is hell moving this cannon. They got to move it across hills and mountains and across rivers, and it's a sight to behold, actually. When it comes to the cannon that they use in the movie, I don't know how heavy it actually was for real, but it looks really heavy when you watch them trying to move it in the movie, and they can't fake this kind of thing. They're using all kinds of real people, all kinds of extras in order to get this cannon moving with pulling it, and they got horses tied with ropes, and they're, being really cruel to these damn horses when they're trying to go up these hills and down these hills. And yeah, this kind of thing cannot be faked. And so when you watch it, it's actually very impressive to see them moving this big damn cannon. There's one very good scene where they're trying to get the cannon across the river on a raft, and the cannon is way too heavy and the river is way too strong, and it ends up taking the raft with the cannon on it, ends up getting stuck in some muddy river water, and so they end up needing help. And there's this part where they decide, well, Frank Sinatra's character decides he's going to go to this big event where everybody's watching, like, looks like a bullfight or something. There are hundreds of Spanish people there, and there's even some French military there, and so some of the Spanish rebels have to kind of hold them at bay with weapons while Miguel goes out there and talks and pleads his case to all the Spanish people and says, I spit in your face for sitting with the French and watching something with them and enjoying having a good time with the French and all that. And so, he says, we could really use your help, for this great cause. If you want to come with me, come and help us get this cannon and we can all work together. And it's just a very kind of hokey moment that It's very, very hard to believe. I call bullshit. I'm sorry. It's supposed to be kind of inspirational and stuff, but for me, it doesn't really work. It just, yeah, it's one of those moments it's kind of hard to buy. There's one scene where Cary Grant's character, Captain Trumbull, has a knife fight scene with another guy. That's a cool little scene. There's also a couple of battles in the film that are worth mentioning because, you know, movies where they have a lot of extras going at, you know, war with each other, it's always entertaining. There's also a very standout scene in this movie that involves a bridge, many, many extras, what looks to be like over 100 extras or something like that, and barrels of gunpowder. And you watch this bridge explode with all these people standing on the bridge, real people, not CGI. This was done in the 50s, and you're watching it done in camera, so watching it, it looks dangerous as hell. And pretty soon, before you know it, because you do have Cary Grant in the same movie with Sophia Loren, also in the same movie with Frank Sinatra, you're going to have this little love triangle in this movie that gets pretty interesting by the time we get to the third act. Yeah, this movie has some real sweet nuggets of gold in there, not to mention a little dance from Sophia Loren where she's kind of provocatively dancing in front of all these guys and, you know, lifting up that skirt just a little bit for, you know, us to see her legs a little bit. And all I got to say is, damn. I gotta be honest though, I gotta tell you, as much as I think this movie is very entertaining, because it is entertaining, you do have some great actors in there that have solid performances, like, you know, of course, Sophia Loren's performance and Cary Grant's performance. But if there's one performance in this movie that's lacking, unfortunately, I gotta say, Frank Sinatra's accent in this movie, terrible. He wears this awful toupee during the movie. You can tell it's, you know, a toupee. And so, yeah, when I watch a movie and I can just tell it's a hairpiece, it takes me out of the movie because I just have a thing about hairpieces in movies. I'm sorry, that's just me. And I also have a thing about bad accents. Frank Sinatra's Spanish accent in this movie, shitty. Sorry, it's just fucking shitty. It's kind of almost shitty to the point of being offensive, to tell you the truth. And that, coupled with the fact that the ending for me, I think, is kind of dumb. Wasn't a big fan of the ending of this. Yeah, for me, this is going to be a 2.5-star movie, unfortunately, but I do think there is a lot of merit to this movie. I think it is worth a watch. I think it is entertaining overall in a lot of scenes. It has a pretty good story. I do think you could get a lot out of The Pride and the Passion from 1957. Not my favorite 50s film, not one of the best, but still a worthy watch and something to check out at least once, just to see Frank Sinatra and Sophia Loren and Cary Grant in the same movie. But The Pride and the Passion, 1957, yeah, 2.5 stars, but still worth a watch, and I still think you should check it out. Maybe you can find this movie on streaming. Maybe you can rent it for a few bucks on Amazon Prime if you're interested, or you can get yourself a hard copy like I did for a few bucks. I found this one right here, as you can see, and that is, yep, Cary Grant there as Captain Trumbull. As you can see there, Juana, Sophia Loren. Man, she was gorgeous. And, yeah, Frank Sinatra there. And these bangs, those aren't his bangs. Those are not his bangs. Thank you all very, very much for watching this classic movie review. I always appreciate it. If you're into the classics, if you're into movies, if you're into this kind of thing, hit the bell, become a subscriber. Please don't forget to comment, share, like, always helps out. If you're a returning viewer, I very much thank you for all of your support and your views. I always appreciate that kind of thing. And please look out for the next classic movie review. Till next time, everybody take care, peace out, and God bless.